to get it together because it was so much other stuff that was going on, the stress of it all, the everything. And
then the when I was telling people initially that I was going to do it, people who I know who can be very real with me, you know, especially Black folks. This is Black Women's World Podcast. You got girl better you than me. That's code for you stupid.
Yeah. I think I didn't say those words to Teresa when she shared it told me what she was doing, but I was like, no, I think I said, you are crazy, but I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm going to be.
And I had to call people out. Girl, better you than me. I know you're trying to say I'm stupid. I got it. I get it. Because I will probably look at me and say,
welcome to Black Women's World Podcast, the BWWP, where we get VIP access into the lives of Black women, or as we like to call us here, our sister niestas. We get to hear from some of our favorite sister niestas as they share their worlds with us and create connections, exchange realities, ideas, and baby, we get to recognize and celebrate how powerful we really are and the kind of inspiration that proves we can be even greater. This is our world, where if you ain't a Black woman, you may want to be one, or definitely get to know one. It's a Black women's world, and we welcome our sister niesta lovers too. Welcome to our queendom. I'm your self-discovery companion, your professional peacemaker, and I'm your host, Tracymac. Come on in and relax, and sit with me for just a little while. Peace.
well, hello, everyone. I am Tracymac, your host of Black Women's World Podcast. That's the BWWP, baby. And I have with me one of my dynamic hosts, Deanna Hamilton.
Hey!
Well, if you can see us, you can see we're dressed differently. We normally have on our BWWP t-shirts, but we have on different t-shirts today for those of you who can see, and for those of you who can't, I'll explain that in a minute. But we are missing one of our dynamic co-hosts, Javon Cookie Jones. Hopefully she will be with us soon, because soon we will be celebrating 1 year. That's 1 year of the BWWP.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yes, Dana, and I'm so glad y'all can, and I don't want to do it too much right now because we're going to save that for the anniversary show. But I just want to say thank you all who have been listening. Hopefully we've got some new things coming up for you. But today we are going to talk about the 75-day challenge, or the 75-day hard challenge that Deanna and I came to use several weeks ago. And we did a show, an episode about it, but we weren't finished. But Deanna, I'll let you do the honors. I'll let you have the honors.
Oh my God. Well, first off, I gotta say, and it is an early congratulations, but I'm so happy and so excited and so proud of you and all that you've done with the Black Women's World Podcast. I could not be more ecstatic, and thank you for asking me to be along, and you and Javon are such a joy, and it's definitely been an honor and a pleasure to sit with you each week on the BWWP.
Thank you, Dana. That means a lot. You know, when I first asked you all didn't hesitate. And I think our friendship and we vibe on so many different fronts. And so to be able to have genuine conversations with Black women who keep it real about what goes on in a Black woman's world, which is a lot. So I thank you for your transparency, your vulnerability. You're going to hear this again because I'm going to thank you on the official show.
No thanks necessary, but what I will do is thank you for joining me in on the 75-day challenge. So, yes. and a little bit, I'm going to be asking you some questions this week. I know you ain't expecting that because you're the host, and you're the hostess with the mostest, but I got some questions I want to ask you too.
Well, you know what? If I dish it, then I got to be able to take it. So bring it on.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, hey, sister niestas and sister niesta lovers. Back in May, well, let's see, back about March or April, I started following my former hairstylist. I used to live in the DMV, And I was following her in her stories, and she was doing this thing, and she was like, seemed like she was outside all the time. She was doing something all the time, but we're in a pandemic, so it ain't too much at that time that we could do because people were just starting to get vaccinated, right? So I hit her up and I was like, what are you doing? So she shared with me she's doing this 75 hard day challenge, and she wanted to, she shared with me the kind. I said, oh, Lord, that's a lot. That's a lot that you got to do. But I'm here with you, sister. If this what you're doing. She was outside, girl. It was cold. And in the DMV, it get cold, dog. No. Oh, my God. So I was watching her, and maybe she finished. She finished sometime. I don't know. Whenever she finished, I saw her results, and I said, I got to know more because you did that thing. I don't know what exactly all you did, but you did that thing, and I just need to know more. So she sent me the website and the criteria for this 75 hard is what it's called. And she says you got to work out twice a day. One of them has to be outside, at least 45 minutes each, and they got to be at least 3 hours apart. And I said, okay. The outside part, that's a little, I do outside, but you know how it is whenever somebody tell you that's what you must do.
Right.
You be like, I don't think I want to do it.
That's all right.
Then you have to follow a diet, any diet, you can pick it, which is different because most people want you to follow their particular plan. But on this one, you didn't have to choose your own plan. Mm-hmm. Then you had to drink a gallon of water, which I thought, oh, that's no biggie because all I drink is water anyway. Water and coffee and wine. Those are my 3 beverages that I drink on a daily, right? I said, oh, okay, well, I drink a lot of water, so that should be good. You got to read 10 pages a day from any self-help or self-development or business book. Okay, all right. That is something that I don't do. I don't read every day. So that was I thought was going to be very challenging. Mm-hmm. The next thing was you have to take a progress pic every day. So preferably you with, so you can see, what your changes are. And they were private pictures, so you didn't have to post your, private pictures or what have you, but just so you would have a record, because really this is all about you. It's not about anybody else. And last, and definitely not least, because I told you that the 3 drinks that I primarily have on a daily basis is coffee, water, wine. Okay, the last part was no alcohol. Or any cheat meals. You can't cheat at any time. So whatever your plan is, you got to stick to it. And you can't have any alcohol for 75 days. And we started this on June 1st. So you're talking about, that's the entire summer,
Yes.
Summer. Yes. So those were the criteria. Uh-huh. So I, in my infinite wisdom, decided to ask my husband to join me because I knew that, he's so supportive that he would join me in on this challenge. That was a no-go because it was a lot. It was like, I'll be here for you. I'll support you, but no, I'm not doing that. Yes. It was what, I just really thought that I was going to be able to talk him into it. But no, there won't that much talking in the world. So then I queried my friends, okay? I queried my friends and I was like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. Is there anyone out there? Anyone out there who would like to join me with this? Yeah, I got a bunch of what Tracy's doing.
I was like, no. I was like, go ahead, girl. I will support you. I will support you. Yeah, Deanna. Go, Deanna.
And I said, thank you. I appreciate that. I do. Then we got, I got some flat out no's like Tracy. Then I got some, well, I can do 30 days. And I was like, oh, okay. But 75 days. But they'll commit to 30 days. Hey, what? Hey, if you can get me started, I'm with you. It's a commitment. Let's do it. Let's do it. Then I get a phone call one night. It's just out of the freaking blue. This was before the thing even started. Out of the blue from Tracymac. Tracy, what did you say?
I said, you know what, Deanna? I'm going to go ahead and do this challenge with you. I need something. Number one, I have COVID pounds. Not just weight, poundage that I have gained. And with everything going on in the world, because of the discipline, when I looked at that list, and there were different things I thought were going to be hard, and we'll talk about that later, that ended up not being as hard as other things. But when I looked at the discipline that I saw that was going to be required, I was like, you know what? I need to level up in some areas in my life, and I need some mental discipline and some fortitude. And this, I think, is the best thing I can do, because it's going to step up my self-care game. So I said, let me call Deanna before this gets started and let her know I'm on the bus. Now, the reason why I had to call you when I did is because I'm a stickler about commitment. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. And I knew that if I could think it all day long, but I knew if I told you that I was going to do this challenge for me, but with you, I wasn't going to go back on my word. So I was like, let me call this chick right now. It was late. It was probably even after my bedtime. I can't remember when it was.
Like, hello? What's up?
Yeah. And I, like you, had asked my husband, I was like, hey, Deanna's got this challenge, I said, you want to do this challenge? He said, what's required? Yeah, you know what? And I read the list. He said, nah, go ahead. I'll support you though. And so Jada, she had gained, in college, they say you gain a freshman 15. Well, she didn't gain the freshman 15 her freshman year, but her sophomore year, she gained she gained 30 pounds, about 32 pounds. And she was like, Mom, I got to get this weight off. I said, well, it's more than weight, which we learned later. And she said, I'm going to do it with you. And I was, kind of, with her being, just 20 years old, not that a 20-year-old couldn't do it, but you think about, would a 20-year-old do something with her mom? I can get kind of outdated, and we're different. And so she said, I'm going to do it. And I said, and I kind of doubted the longevity. Like you said, you had people that said 30 days. I'm like, she'll hang a couple of weeks. And go ahead, I'll let you go from there. But that's what made me make the commitment. It was some weight I needed to lose, and a mental space I needed to get in. I won't say back in, because I needed to up level some things that were going on in my mind that I needed some mental discipline about.
That right there with you, sister. I was excited after I hung up the phone with you. I looked at Brian. I was like, Tracy's gonna do it with me. I was so happy because I felt like, okay, I know. I felt like I knew you enough to know that you would stick in there until the very, very end. So, we didn't start until June 1st. So we had some time to get our minds right, get prepared, eat our last suppers. That's what I call them.
Wait, were you going to? You thought you were going to the cross?
Well, I wasn't. Well, hey, it was kind of sort of like walking a slow death to the cross, especially on some days. It was like, what in the world? All these things are passing me by. I'm walking. There's a sundae and there's a slice of pizza.
Yes.
Yeah. So some days it did feel that way, but
Well, I will tell you a few days before, because we were just coming off Memorial Day, and a few days before the challenge started, I did feel a little bit of, oh, should I have done it? I couldn't change my mind because I'd already made a verbal commitment. I couldn't, but I was like, could I have done it? Because I began to think about everything that I was going to have to give up. And I was like, oh man, did I bite off more than I can chew, pun intended. you know. So I thought about it. I said, oh, so should I go get all the stuff that I won't be able to eat? You know, and I did try, but I ran out of time. I ran out of time because Jada and I were like, well, I'm not going to eat this because we were trying to decide our meal plan, what our diet, I like to say meal plan was going to be. And I was like, well, I won't be able to have ice cream and I won't be able to have this, that, and the other. And so what I thought I was not, my initial meal plan, I changed it because I didn't think I was giving up enough, if that makes sense. Because people have to understand we've been on this health journey for years together and individually. I started my health journey this time, 2015. You and I began to journey together around 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And we did Boost Me, which was health related. Then we came back and did Food, Folks, and Funds. And so when you've been in a weight loss mode for years, it's a whole different ballgame. I know we can talk about that later, but yeah, I was trying to have my last supper too.
Yes, that's what I call them every time. And it's my last supper. So what shall I have? My last supper. I think one of the things prior to us starting it was I had to get the buy-in from the entire house. Okay. And I think that the girls, even though, you know, Brian is good, the girls, they are so super like, Mom, you're great. You don't have to do, you don't need to lose any more. You look great. So I don't think you should do this, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, y'all so sweet. Meanwhile, had I come outside in that suit that I wore in the previous sorority meeting, then, you know, with the buttons popping and the pockets gone, and then they would have told me to turn right back around and go back in my closet and choose something else. Meanwhile,
as honest as children can be, and unfiltered.
And unfiltered as they are. Yes. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate that. I really do. I appreciate that. But I also had to tell them, hey, this changes nothing about your life. You know, your life will go on as usual.
Yeah.
This is just all about me and having to, like you said, I gained 19 pounds over the pandemic. And while, you know, I would get 5 off, and then I'd go stall, and then I'd get another 3 off, then I stall, and then I gain. It was just, I was just not in the mental space, evidently, to get it together, because it was so much other stuff that was going on, the stress of it all, the everything. And
then when I was telling people initially that I was going to do it, people who I know who can be very real with me, you know, especially Black folks. This is Black Women's World Podcast. You got, girl, better you than me. That's code for you stupid.
Yeah. I think I didn't say those words to Teresa when she shared it told me what she was doing, but I was like, no, I think I said, you are crazy, but I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm going to be.
And I had to call people out. Girl, better you than me. I know you're trying to say I'm stupid. I got it. I get it. Because I will probably look at me and say, you know, but you know, you get those people, better you than me, or I wouldn't do it. You good. It's all code.
It is all code. It is all code. But, you know, we got it. You know, I get it. I get it too. And I get that losing weight, what I have found, and I'm sure you can relate, is losing weight is easy. Mm-hmm. Keeping the weight off is very hard.
You preaching now. Yeah.
And I know that and I ain't trying to oversimplify it, because it's, you know, when you're in it, you can, but when you done shed like you over 100 pounds, I lost over 65. When you shed that weight and you're in it, it seems like it's going to take you forever. And it felt like it because it took me 65 pounds. It took me over a course of 2 years to do that. But look how much I'm fighting to make sure that I still, stay here. It's a struggle. It's like, it's a struggle every day. So it's like somebody who is addicted to alcohol and they are recovering. They still say they're recovering even though they've been sober for 15 years. They're recovering.
Yeah.
It's a decision every day that they make.
Or like I said before on another episode, it's a decision every meal.
Every meal, yeah.
And then you still, no matter how much weight you lose, and I'm only speaking for myself, where, whether I was 307 pounds or now, sometimes I still see the 307-pound Tracy in the mirror. So it's not only a mentally visual thing, it's a decision every day.
Every day.
You have to make. And when Deanna said she gained 19 pounds, I gained 22 pounds from the time the pandemic started. And I was already trying to get a couple pounds off before the pandemic. But but I gained 22 pounds over the course of the pandemic. It comes on so quick. It comes on. So it's when people say it's a lifestyle, baby, it is a lifestyle. It's not for a moment. It's not for a wedding. It's not for an event. I mean, it can be. We all have those things we want to get into for this, that, and other. But when you're talking about sustaining weight loss, like Deanna said, you can lose it, but keeping it off. So I always say, don't gain, maintain. Sometimes I'm just in that mode. Just don't gain. Just please, Tracy, act right and don't gain. And not just pounds, but inches, or eating improperly, to combat, comorbidities, and other diseases, diabetes, high cholesterol, heart disease, high blood pressure. You're making a decision, you're at the fork of the road. I mean, literally fork, and so that was a big thing for me. When I say that mental game, this here.
Whew. Yeah. And okay, so we started. Okay. So I think the first book I read was 75 Hard. And it's by, I'll show, Andy Frisella.
Yes, I read it too. Jada has mine at college.
So we read the book. We found out where he was in his life when he decided when he even came up with the challenge. And it's really a social media type phenomena. So, I said, oh, well, some of the stuff I could relate to, some of the stuff I couldn't relate to, but I got it. And his biggest thing was about mental toughness. Mental toughness. What is it that you doing what you should be doing even when you don't want to do it, you don't feel like doing. It's not that you can't lose weight if you don't do these things, those tasks. I think there were 7 tasks a day. It's not that, it's the fact that you've been given 7 tasks. Will you do them?
Yes.
Period.
And the thing of it is, everything is based on the honor system.
Right.
Which is another thing. That's another mind game, because you can cheat. Now, Jada and I were in the same house. So there was a lot of times we held one another accountable, but I'm the mama. You can't tell me what to do. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, okay, the only person who would know I was cheating is me. And that would mean I'm cheating myself. Why would I cheat myself and know it and live with the guilt of I really didn't complete that day? So I didn't go into the challenge thinking 75 days. I was going to the challenge thinking that day. Can I do everything honorably today?
Today. And that's the thing. Oh, I forgot to tell you, sister nieces and sister niece lovers. If you did not complete any one of the tasks that day, you had to start over. So you could be in day 67, but if you forgot to take your progress pic, then you would have to start over. If you decided if you did not complete your gallon of water, then you were supposed to start over. No matter what point you were at, I was just obsessed with, there's no way I'm going to start over.
Exactly. But I came close twice. One time I had fallen asleep reading, and I had not been, and I read more than 10 pages. I count myself to be an avid reader. I was reading way more than 10 pages a day, but that particular day, I was so exhausted from the day, I was just going to be able to get 10 pages in. And I fell asleep reading in the bed. And if it hadn't been for my husband, who knew that's why telling people, and that's one of the points I hope we can make. Tell people, even if they're not doing it with you, have somebody to support any kind of challenge, because he wasn't doing the challenge, but he knew what my requirements were. And he saw I had fallen asleep. Probably my glasses might have been crooked. And he said, "Babe, did you finish reading?" I popped up. I had 3 more pages. I don't remember what day that was, but I know I was more than two, maybe 3 weeks in. And I was like, oh my God, if he hadn't woke me up, and I wouldn't have, I would have had to start over.
Would have had to start over. Okay, so I was on a road trip to some family in Ohio. I had fallen asleep like you, and I said, I woke up, and I said, what? Why don't want to wake up? I'm tired. Right? So I be having little discussions with the Lord. There'd be little conversations, right? Like, Lord, why in the world am I up? Can I go back to sleep? What is it that I need to do?
Yes.
I sat there and I was like, what do I need to do? And I realized I did not take a progress pic. I was on day 60 something.
Yeah, because that was in the past month or so you went.
I got my hind parts out of that bed. I went to the bathroom, pulled that camera out.
As long as it was before midnight.
And took myself right on back to sleep. You hear what I say?
Yes, I don't blame you. And you know what? That's what taught me the structure that I had to do every day. And once I got my plan of what happened, first, second, third, all the way down to the last one, it was good. Once I walked in the morning, because I got a PLE, which is the sun allergy. So I had to walk before the sun gets too hot, have my sleeves on and all that. So I have to do my outdoor exercise in the morning. The next thing I'm going to do is read. Because when I almost got caught slipping trying to read at night, which I normally read at night, but I can go to sleep when I'm not being challenged. The next thing I'm going to do is read. I'm going to get that reading out of the way. As soon as I come back from my walk, I'm going to sit on the porch, have my water. So once I got those 3, everything else, kind of did it. Oh, and Jada and I would do a progress pic. Time we got back, we do one before we walked and one after. That was just for our own. The before and after was for our own. But those 4 things: get that walk, that progress pic, that reading, and start that water. Because as soon as you start the water, as soon as you can finish.
Amen, sister, to that. Amen. Yeah, I had a routine. But anything that took me out of that routine, if it took me out, like if I had to be somewhere early and that meant that I couldn't get my reading done that morning, that would throw me. If I had, I was traveling, so I wasn't in my environment. So that was, I usually had my tripod set up in the hallway, so I can immediately, it was a prompt. I didn't have all of those things, while I was away. So anything that would take me out of my norm, it jeopardized the days.
Yeah. Same here, because we traveled several times, and our issue traveling was drinking a gallon of water per day. Because I've traveled all my life. I'm a road trip person. I don't mind right now. Anything over 4 hours, I got to get on a plane. But everything we were doing was 3 hours or less. And so everything was in the car. And even on the road, I don't like to stop at public bathrooms. I mean, this may be a tip, Sister Nisa and Sister Nisa lovers. When I travel, I stop at a hotel to go to the bathroom, and I have to go to the bathroom. Because I used to have to travel alone, work-wise. And so stopping at a service station, especially at night, wasn't safe for me. So I just got in the habit of stopping at hotels to use the bathroom in the lobby area. And it worked. So, but even then I didn't want to stop because several of the trips we had to make time. And so the first trip, me and Jada was messed up. But we learned. So what we did, we got up earlier, an hour or so earlier, got our water started before our walk, so that any of the wide open bathroom we had to go to the bathroom. We did that before we even got on the road. So sometimes we'd have half of our water finished because a gallon is 8 bottles. And, you know, you want to be environment friendly. So sometimes we didn't use plastic bottles, but road tripping we did. So a gallon is 8 bottles. So we would finish 4 before we even left the house. Might sip 1 while you're on the road, and wherever our destination was, we finished the other 3 real quick. So it was even having that down to a science.
It's amazing the things that you can get accomplished when you know you ain't got but a little bit time
Yes.
to do them. I don't have that same hang up about traveling and using the bathroom. I ain't trying to go to no Phillips 76 that you know they don't even exist anymore.
Do they even exist anymore?
No, they don't even exist anymore. But I have come to find out that your sheets and Wawa's, they keep their bathrooms pretty clean, tidy, and fresh. I would even go to the bathroom, at church. I knew how long I had. It was time for me to go. So as soon as church started, before church started, I get there early so I go to the bathroom. As soon as he said the benediction, no hellos to my husband. I went right by him.
You didn't greet your neighbor?
You know, in COVID, I ain't greeting no neighbors anyway. However, I took straight to the bathroom. Then we could talk.
Yes, I feel you.
We could talk.
But I thought about it. When I thought about it being problematic and cumbersome, this is one thing, one of the many things, because I kept a journal, because I do that too, every day of a lesson I learned. Sometimes I had more than one, and I didn't bring it a day, and y'all will probably say thank you, because most of the stuff pertains to just me, and some of it's private.
So many lessons.
But one of the things I learned when I was thinking about how cumbersome and aggravating it was to get that water right, and I thought about it when Jada was a baby, and any moms out there, you sister nieces who are mothers, that when our children were little, we had diaper bags, and I say had because that's been 18 years ago now because she's 20. Diaper bags, strollers. We had 2 different kinds of stroller, umbrella stroller and a Cadillac stroller. We had portable playpens because we stayed on the move a lot. And I thought about it, I said, this would be no different when I was caring for a toddler or an infant, how we had to prep for the road. You had to have so many Pampers. I had a lead and stuff that I had we had a Jeep back then. I pop open the back of the Jeep and have everything ready to change. And I said, you know what? When did we stop caring for ourselves, especially women, as if we were the little girl? So that opened my eyes to another level of what would I do for little Tracy? I would prep for her. I would make sure she ate properly. And so that was an epiphany for me during the challenge to treat myself like the little girl who, and I'm not talking about going back or trying to fix anything. No, I would make sure little Tracy had a nap. I would make sure little Tracy had, her bottle, that she was changed. And I would make sure that she had her fruit and I said, you know what? I did this for my child. I'm going to do this for me. And so the challenge it was hard, but it also became a pleasantry for me. And I know it may sound like a dichotomy, it is, but it was like, let me get up and get my waters out. Let me get up and get my snacks ready. And let me get up and make sure. And I don't know, did you have that?
Yes. I mean, it was so many lessons in this thing for me. One of the things that really got me through the entire thing, well, especially in the beginning, because I think this is the reason why a lot of people may have started but may not have finished, is because the things that you focus, you can't focus on, even though it says 75 hard, you can't focus on the hard.
Yes.
You have to focus on what you can do. So instead of saying, oh, I can't have another Sunday for 75 days, I started thinking about all the stuff that I could have. Okay, so my meal plan was I was getting, I had no added sugar, no pastas, pretty much I gave up the carb life. So anything that was integrated, like a fruit, that I would, get it that way through my fruits and vegetables and protein, that thing, right? But what could I have? The other stuff that I find to be very good and decadent, crabs, shrimp.
Yes.
Chicken. Oh my God. I mean, I was so excited to be able to have those things. So I didn't have my rice, but I fell in love, found this great cauliflower rice, and it was really good. I seasoned it with, so really on that.
Why are you talking like you can taste it? Or at least is that me? Is that my big girl problem?
No. Girl, I can make some food look good. I can make it smell good. I can make it sound good. Oh my God. So you see, so I still have those struggles in me. Food is my love, right? Had to just learn to love it a little less.
Yes.
But I could. So all the things that I could have, they were phenomenal. They were great. You find different ways of having the food. You find different places where you can eat. And I had, of course, staples. So I don't really do a lot of fast food, and I really don't do a lot of eating out. But there are times, we live. We live. So there are times when you're going to have to put yourself in the line of fire, and you're like, okay, what I'm gonna do?
I gotta. It's something for me. I mean, because you have to make, and menus are friendly. You got to be creative, because I'm like you, Dean. I think we've been talked about it. I had to get to that point. What can I have? Because I chose pescatarian with no fried chicken. Because some pescatarians and loose pescatarians, you can have chicken breast. So I had a few chicken breasts every now and then, but that was included in the pescatarian. But I was like, you know what? I'm not going to eat anything fried, because I didn't feel like it was enough. Because remember, I've been on this journey for a long time. I started intermittent fasting a year and a half ago now. And so many things I had been giving up consistently, even though I used to allow myself cheat days. But we couldn't have any cheat days. So I was like, how can I make this even more? So I made it very, very low carb. I didn't do no carb. But I made it very, very, and no cake, none of that. And that's my favorite. So it was like, but what can I have? And I'm like, I can have crab legs. I can have shrimp. I can have fish. I can have these other things. And then you get creative. And like you, not a lot of fast food, unless we were traveling. We did hit the road, and you got to get, your grilled chicken nuggets from Chick-fil-A, all that kind of stuff. But I had to be creative, and of course take snacks. Like I said, that little Tracy, I was taking snacks as if I was prepping for a little kid. So I'd had my cucumber slices, strawberries, blueberries, apples, just to make sure, because I was like, if they go somewhere and there's nothing for me, I gotta eat.
Stay tuned for more of the BWWP. An Amazon best-selling author with an Art Book Club Incorporated 5-star rating and your self-discovery companion, Tracymac is setting positive change ablaze with her 3 incredible books. Looking for an interactive resource that reveals how to strategically overcome obstacles that can hinder you from developing your purpose and consistently enjoy the limitless benefits of living your best life? Well, grab your copy of Tracymac's book, The Book of Purpose, The You Testament. Through true stories, real-world examples, and thought-provoking questions and principles, you can make your best dreams a reality and achieve big goals that sustain peace in your life. Your solution has arrived. If you are ready to live an amazing life of change with sustainable results and measurable success, get your copy of one or all 3 of these awesome books where fine books are sold today
to start your journey.
You've been listening to Black Women's World Podcast.
Let's continue the conversation.
And then I didn't want to put myself in a type of meal plan that deprivation, that time we finished the challenge, I would gain all this weight back, because the deal was to help me get off the COVID pounds and keep those off, not lose weight for the challenge, because it was just for the challenge. What's the purpose? Why just lose weight for a challenge and gain it all back?
Okay, so let me ask you this, because I know that there are many who may be thinking, hey, I don't know, maybe I could do this. I think it's always good to, kind of prepare people. So did you have days when you were like, why am I doing this?
Of course. And I'm serious, because maybe 2 or 3 times a week, I would holler into Jada, because I would have her, because I didn't know she was going to get up. I'm an early riser. I'm usually up between 4:30 and 5. I don't want to talk, but I'm usually awake. And I knew I had to be out of the house, my foot on the pavement by 6:30 to beat the sun. I didn't know if she was going to get up with me. And some days, Dana, I wanted to quit. So I would holler in there and I would say, Jada, you want to quit today? And there'd be a little pause. She'd say, no, I already got my tennis shoes on. I'm like, God, I got to put mine on too. So yeah, the struggle was there. I did not want to not keep my word to myself and then to my friend. And then I got my child watching, but don't let the record show. It wasn't because I did not doubt myself and I didn't want to, I wanted to stop. I wanted to stop. And then I ended up taking my mom some carrot cake. I can't have, I'm cooking. I'm like you, Dana, I'm still cooking for my family, because Jada's meal plan, she chose low carb, but they were eating, she chose no bread and something else, but they were eating, I had to still fry chicken wings. That's one of my favorites. I had to cook for my family. So yeah, there were some days I was like, you might not make it, sis. You might not, and having to finish that last little bit of water in that bottle. It's like, I thought, can I get any more water in my system?
Yeah, I thought I was going to drown. I would, especially when we first started. I was like, I don't think we ain't made to have this much water. The body is what they say, 80% water, but whatever. Okay. Yeah. I'm over the top on the water part.
I'm like, did he think about short people? I ain't but 5'1". Did he think, was this gallon for people my height?
Yeah. So yeah, that was okay. I had those moments and I had to, and because I felt like, okay, I'm the one who asked everybody to join me on this challenge. There's no way in the world I can quit. I can't quit. Oh my God. Why the hell did I decide to do this? I had a lot of those.
You better not have come to me with quitting. You better not have told me.
There's no way. So, point 2, have a sounding board, somebody who's going to bring you back, get you back into the game. But this is the thing now. I said I was not doing any policing because there was this was an honor system thing. You had to do, what you said that you were going to do. And if you didn't do it, then that was fine, because it takes some readiness, to get you to this here place. So I wanted to make sure that everybody knew that no, we talking now because it's over. I'm telling you.
Yes, because we survived. See, Dina gifted us with the shirts. Those of us who survived the 75 hard. Dina, you gonna show the back?
No, then you'd have to see my back. I survived. Just take my word. You don't need to see the back of me.
I'm not going to show the back of me. It's some situation.
Looks so much better.
Well, if you need to know, the back says Lashes and Lipstick Lounge. Dina has a I want to say a health group, but Deanna, you can describe it more. But I just got to say the benefits for me, one of the benefits of getting through the challenge was the group support, because there's so many different women, mainly women in the group who didn't
only women, only women.
Yes, only women who did not do the challenge, but their support, they're cheering us on. And then we had other people in the lounge. Dana lovingly calls us the loungers, other loungers who were in the group. And let me say this, it's called Lashes and Lipstick Lounge. Dana explained what I don't wear lashes and I very rarely wear lipstick. So it has nothing to do with it. It's all about the administrator of the group. She's this way. This chick right here is her lashes and lipstick. Not everybody else in the group. So look, go to Facebook and join the group. Because if you need support on your health journey, you don't have to do a challenge. But because a health journey is challenging, you can go into the Lash and Lipstick Lounge, and while you're at it, you can go on Facebook to the Black Women's World podcast group too. So Dina, talk about why you created the lounge and how the lounge was helpful for you too during the challenge.
Well, I created the lounge out of, look, most of everything. I get voluntold a lot of things. Hey, you know what? Because I was doing lives when I had lost the weight, and just I would get on. I don't know what I was talking about, but this really talking about me running from diabetes. So I was talking about that. Talking about the journey as we went along, okay, and people started about, hey, I think that you could probably help a lot of people if you just created this space, a safe space for people like you, which is there's a lot of women like us, who just want to see, observe, listen, who, want to get started, don't know how to get started, no pressure on the start, and, no judgments and all that kind of, that kind of thing. Yeah. And that's really how I started. Now the name is because
here we go.
I always got teased because, I would go to the gym first thing in the morning, and I always have on a pair of lashes and lipstick. So that's how they came to know me, because who gets up at 5 a.m. to get their kids ready for school to go to the gym and have lashes and lipstick on?
Dana Hamilton.
Yeah, that was
unapologetically.
Unapologetically, yeah, that was me. Yes, I did that. But if you go back through that lounge and you start seeing my pictures during the pandemic, child, I ain't. That's how
lashes, lipstick, where?
That's how people should have known something was wrong with me, because I was getting any kind of way. They had never seen me before like that.
Oh Lord! So just to reiterate, but you can see the progression of not just us, but several other loungers, women. If you are interested to have a support group and a team of people, and there is no judgment. We tell the successes and our unsuccessful days. I don't want to say failures, because any effort you make is not a failure.
I don't know, Tracy, because sometimes they were effortless. I didn't make no efforts, and they just that sometimes.
So you talking about like that time you dreamed about French fries in the ground?
You start having dreams about stuff. French fries. I share that kind of stuff because I want people to know this was mentally taxing.
To the point you having dreams about French fries, yes.
French fries, yeah.
And then here I go, my carb loving self said, with or without ketchup.
Yes. And you know what? I answered. It was with ketchup. Yeah.
Because your desires for that, like Dana mentioned earlier, just like any other, because you have to admit, when you're addicted to food, some people say, I'm just overweight, whatever. You can color yours the way you want to, but I have to say, a food addict, carb addict, sugar addict. But like they say in AA, but I'm constantly in recovery. But when you admit that, I think admitting it and being vulnerable is the key. We talked about that on several episodes when it comes to accountability. Have an accountability, because this right here, I could not have done it. And I got to thank you for making me aware of the challenge, and then for inviting me along with other people to go on the challenge with you, because the biggest benefit, and I think we got to share our numbers so our sister nieces know how well we fared. But the greatest benefit was time with my daughter. That was the greatest benefit, because we started out our morning workout. She wanted to do push-ups and burpees and all that. That ain't my thing. So she would go outside and do it in the driveway for the first 3 or 4 days. And then she was like, Mom, I'm going to walk with you. And from that day until she went back to college, that's another thing I got to give Jada kudos on. With, I think, 11 days left, she had to report back to school early to be trained in the leadership program. I don't know if I would have taken the 75-day challenge to a college campus. I don't know, but she did it. We did Google Duo, because we're Android users. We would get on Duo and do our workouts together in the morning. So I got to applaud her for that. But just to thank you, Deanna, for that whole, it's just been a wonderful thing. It's been a wonderful thing.
Well, you're most welcome, but I did absolutely nothing. I just put it out in the atmosphere, and you just decided.
I was crazy enough. I was crazy. Like they say, better you than me.
Yeah. So, okay, well, tell the people, tell the sister nieces and sister nieces lovers your physical transformation.
Okay. Now, and that's another thing too. When I tell this, I got to tell something. Remind me, because I may forget what people have said about the numbers.
Okay.
Numbers wise, I lost 11.5 pounds. My daughter Jada lost 15. I lost 6 3/4 inches. That's between waist, hips, and thighs. And Jada lost 11 inches total. So in 75 days, I think that was very good. And do we want to we're not going to get into the book stats or anything, are we?
Oh, yeah, you can.
Okay.
So those were your physical transformations. Okay. Yeah, we can do that, because
do your physical.
Okay, my physical, I lost a total of 10 pounds and 5 1/4 inches off my waist. I didn't care about nothing else. I ain't measured nowhere else.
Well, I didn't do arms. It was just those problematic areas.
Hips or nothing. You saw I wasn't going to turn around. I'm not going to turn around and show you. No, I'm not.
Well, people listening wouldn't have seen, but the
people who, not going to do it. Not going to do it. I only cared about.
Don't you go there with me.
I only measured what I cared about. So I measured what mattered to me. Okay.
You and Javon, help y'all.
What you see coming, it'll always look better than what you see going out. Okay. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I survived. Mm-hmm.
Keep talking.
Mm-hmm. Okay, then. So then, as you can tell, that there are some things mentally that were transformed and I think those are kind of like maybe the more important things. The more important things are the things you can't measure, the things that no one can see. So why don't you share, Tracy, if you can get yourself together, what some of those things were? Mm-hmm.
Okay. I am together. Payback is a mug. Anyway, again, it was time with my daughter. I read 12 books, even though 10 pages were required. I was probably reading that, a little more than that as usual. So I was like, let me step it up. So I read 12 books, and I went back and read one of my own, because I hadn't read one of my own books of the 3 in about a year or so. So I went back and read that. And I got so much, and it wasn't just to read, I glean. So when I read, I journal. I highlight, my books got stickers and tabs and stuff like that. So I really gleaned a lot, but I will mention there's a series called The Go-Giver, and there are 4 books. Anybody who is in business, entrepreneurs like Dana and I, and many of our sister nieces who listen from all over the world, that is a great series to read. It's just another, I won't tell you, just read it. It's great. But that was the information that nobody can take your knowledge. So the things I learned, the shifts I made a couple paradigm shifts, especially when it comes to selling, based on some of the materials I read. The spirituality, even though it didn't say spiritual books, some of the books that were self-help do lean towards spiritual life. And so that you can't put a price on knowledge and mental growth and mental health betterment. You cannot. And when you feed yourself those things, and I think I had to look at it like that, one of the lessons, feeding myself the information, not just for the sake of knowing it, but to live it and do it. It's like eating and exercising. You want a calorie deficit, when you're trying to lose weight, but and so when you're taking in knowledge and stuff like that, you want to implement it, as soon as you can. So that just amazing. That was good for me. Really, really good. How about you?
Well, so my biggest challenge that I thought was going to be the biggest challenge was the reading, because I just it is just hard for me to sit still. I could read 2 or 3 pages, and then after that, I'd be still. But I read 5 books, and that's more books than I read in the last year or so. I would say 5 years, but then that would make me look real ignorant. But I know even if I would not be by myself.
Well, see, look, first of all, you would not look ignorant, because a lot of people don't, but it could not be audible. We didn't stress that.
Oh, yeah. No, you had to read.
No audiobooks. You had to read. I think Kindle was allowable, but I like to touch pages. But I will say, on Jada's behalf, and it's public knowledge, Jada suffers from dyslexia to this day. She overcomes the challenges on a regular basis. She read 5 books. And she has never, because it's so challenging, when you have a learning disorder or disability, to do that. And so for her, and I think I don't have my 70, these are the books I read, but I don't have my 75 hard book, because that was one of the last ones. She finished it, but she took it with her to school. But I mean, think about it. The things you gain, the things you learn, it was more than just the weight. But I do want to say, I had a comment. A lot of people applauded us, Deanna. They were, rooting for us and proud of us when we completed the challenge, because we gave it to them every day. But there were some that said, you did all of that and that's all. It was only 11 pounds. First, like I said earlier, you got to know, we've been in weight loss and weight maintenance mode since 2015. And so to kick your body up into another gear, to go from maintenance and gaining to losing, especially when you're 52, you got so many things working against you. When you are of a certain age, you got menopause, because usually women gain weight during that time. You've got your metabolism that, decreases, the rate decreases at that time. You've got just aches and pains. The things I had to go through, I had to get knee injections. I have arthritis in both knees. I had to get knee injections during the process, and I could not stop. I had to shift what my workout was going to be on those days. But I did it for me. It wasn't for Deanna. It wasn't because the man made the challenge. Once I made the commitment, I was not going to stop. So I had to overcome several things. I didn't feel well sometimes in there. I deal with anemia. I had to get iron infusions during that part, and that will knock you out for the day, but I scheduled them so I didn't have to get a whole one. I mean, I had to do a lot of things. So it wasn't just the challenge. It was the self-care that leveled up because of the challenge.
It was about this. I'll be damned if this thing is going to beat me. I just that type of, oh no, this is not going to. I had an injury too. In fact, Tracy had to give me compression socks. And I had that same injury like twice, which it was on my foot. I couldn't walk. Get out there and walk. I could walk, but it was painful. Yeah. So I had to come up with different ways to get my 45 minutes in that was not going to jeopardize the healing of my foot. And, it was there was not an excuse that could be made for me that I could make for myself not to complete it. And as far as
we're talking about running and walking that we did a lot of, but you had other options. I discovered yoga in a whole new way and how difficult it is. I mean, it is difficult. I discovered trap cardio, which I love. I did trap cardio this morning. Shout out to Ashley and the whole Beyond the Fluff family and community. You guys carried me through many a days for my second workout. But
well, you know, the girls and I, yes, on June 1st was our first, and I think we've talked about this too. The girls and I started swim lessons. So we would go swim. So if I wanted to like a nice workout that I won't gonna be doing a whole bunch of outside, I'm huffing, I'm puffing, this sweat's coming from everywhere. I would go to the pool. So that was time that I spent with them. So that was good too. You know what else I did? You know, for sometimes it's the second workout that really gets you. So Brian and I would go for a walk in the evenings, and I loved that. You know,
your picture show you was blushing in those pictures. So yeah, with that, I walked 434 miles.
Are you serious?
434 miles based on my Fitbit. And I've stopped wearing my Fitbit since then because the band irritates my wrist so bad. But 434 miles. And that was mostly my first workout. And then if I did another type of cardio the second. So and I want to shout out Brian. He's the one that told me back in 2017 that, and this is no endorsement, but especially if you're heavy and you have knee problems and back problems, get a good shoe. Mm-hmm. Get a good shoe. Because I started out with my little cute Nike 270s and my free runs and whatever, and my ankles and knees would be messed up. But Brian told me about Brooks back when we were doing Food, Folks, and Funds. And I went out and invested in a pair of Brooks, and I probably bought 4 pairs since then. And so if you're on no matter where you live in the world, hopefully you get access to any good shoe. But considering my height and the weight I was carrying and the type of walking I was doing, should I say the frequency of walking, that shoe made a huge difference in my exercise. So shout out to Brian Hamilton.
Yeah, shoes. And we actually ironically talked about shoes last night because he's training now for a half marathon. So he had to buy a new pair of shoes. You go through them a lot. You go through shoes when you're using them. So
yes.
So that yet another expense. But that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there.
But then you do make investments.
Yeah, you do make investments
into your health.
Yep, that is an investment. So I spent a lot of time with him. I read the 5 books. I'm implementing the things that I learned, or got a lot of major plans for just that. And I said, you know what? I must have joined this challenge just for that. Just on that end to get me prepared for another stage of life. It ain't have anything to do with the weight loss. And I know that it may not sound like a lot, 10, 11 pounds. It might have, 5 inches. It might not sound like a lot to some people, but in the middle of the summer, I would have gained. I was on the verge of gaining 10 pounds versus losing 10 pounds. So I'm going to take every inch.
Yes.
Every ounce.
It wasn't enough for them, but you get to a point where you have no more dams to give. It was enough for me. And that's what matters the most. And and the support, because that's another thing I learned. We just talked about Brian. Owen is extremely supportive. I could not have asked or prayed for better. But even with that, when he said, let me know what you need, I didn't even know what I needed. So it required me to articulate better and more clearly what I needed. And God knows he showed up every step of the way, every time, making sure, did you do this? Did you get your so-and-so? At times past, I might have taken it. Why are you checking up on me? During this challenge, I needed it. Ask me again, babe. Ask me, did I do? Ask me. And it was definitely the support I needed. But the support I needed had to be the support I learned how to ask for. So that was another lesson. Yeah. Yeah. So, but anyway, it's been I think Deanna has gone frozen on us. Deanna, are you with us? Okay, so we are back. So I don't know where we left off at, but we were talking about support. We were talking about Deanna taking her strolls at night with her husband, and me talking about Owen supporting me, me learning how to ask for the support I needed. So it's just been a wonderful thing. And any challenge, it doesn't have to be weight, it doesn't have to be this challenge, but any challenge. Deanna, real quick, why do you think people think it's easy? Because I get that a lot, that, oh, that's just you. You can do that. Why do you think people think it's easy for you to be, because you're one of the most mentally disciplined people I know. Why do you think people think it's easy?
Well, first off, I have to say thank you for that. I think people think it's easy because they see where you are now.
Mm.
It's easy for them to forget. Either they didn't know who you were, or it's easy for them to forget because they see who you are now.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people commented, that was the quickest 75 days. And I was thinking, that was only quick for you because you weren't doing it.
Exactly.
It was the longest 75 days of my life.
It felt long. It felt long.
Yes, I mean, the calendar, at least I had a mark down every day. But I think that's why people think it may be easy, because they see where you are right now.
Mm-hmm. And
because they thought the 75 days was short, and I'm just using this challenge, but it's been years.
Yes.
It's hard to, if it took me 2 years to lose 65 pounds, and people want to lose that tomorrow, well, it's taken. That was a lot of losing, gaining. That was a lot.
Yeah, because you're not always in weight loss mode.
You're not always.
Sometimes you there, because you said earlier, we live life. And some people may say, okay, now anybody would say 125, 130 pounds is a lot. And it is. That's a person. It could be two people. But at the same time, I'm never, and I don't, and this is not because I'm defeated or feel, but I'm never going to have a hard body. That's not my goal. So people will say, oh, that's a lot of weight, but you can still do more. You can hear the sarcasm in people. Well, keep going. You want to say, shut the hell up. You get out here too. But you kind of say, thank you. And everybody who says that doesn't mean anything, but you can feel it. We all can read each other. We got sense. We got intuition. We got, a discernment. So you can feel it. But when you are in a lifestyle, I'm not trying to go fast. I'm just trying to be steady, and I'm trying to keep it off forever. One thing I can say about this phase of mine since 2015, you have not seen me go up. And my up has been only visible to me, because by the time it's gone up to the point where it's got my attention, I'm on my way back down. And that's because of accountability. Yeah. That's because of a made up mind. Because that, Deanna, I think that is the key. You don't have to have a golden ticket. It's a made up mind. Talk on that, please.
It is really, it is a made up mind. It's one of those, how many times am I, it wasn't until I thought my life was in jeopardy that I decided, okay, this is the time when I really got to get serious. Everybody got their aha. It's not, some people, it's not going to be that. It is not going to be that dramatic. So everybody get that flip has switched. Anybody who's made a major life change, there's usually some traumatic event that has happened to them.
Yeah.
There's another young lady in the lounge. She didn't have a weight problem. What she had was a cholesterol problem.
Mm-hmm.
So, you never know what people are, you never know what people are dealing with. And if your goal, and we don't know the time that we have.
Yes.
We don't know the time that we have, but it would be, I would be remiss if I took it for granted if I did not take care of myself during this time.
Right.
That made up my thing, that mental toughness that he talked about so much in the book. That is really what a journey like this, any journey that you were talking about, any challenge, that's really what's going to get you through, whether it's a financial journey, a food journey, you name it, a relationship journey, is really what your mental state, how are you going to take this?
And it's amazing how one affects the other. When you just mentioned the food, the relationship journey, the financial journey, the career journey, how one will affect, you get one right, it tends to cause the other ones to come in some form of alignment. It may not be as precise or may not be as drastic of a difference, but they tend to kind of fold together, kind of like dominoes. One affects the other. But I know at some point in time, even us talking today, somebody may say, well, okay, they did the challenge. They talked about it earlier, they're doing it now. One thing, and sometimes people get tired of your testimony, no matter what it is. But I will tell you, a weight loss or a health journey testimony is one of the most visible that people can see. This is how you were, this way. Because I'm not going to lay my finances out to the public. I'm not going to say, this is how much I had, this is how much so you're not going to do that. I'm not going to completely lay my relationship, my personal life out to I'm very transparent to an extent. So I think weight and health is the most visible that people can see. I was this, now I'm this. And that's one reason why I share, because some people may get tired of it. At the same time, it may be one who's encouraged. And that's the one I'm after. I'm like, Jesus, I'm going after the one, and I get emails and texts and even publicly on social media of people saying, you encourage me. Thank you for the inspiration. Thank you for, you putting the pictures out there. And I do it because it lets me know where I've come from. So I don't do it for kicks and giggles for other people. But like Deanna said, once that switch flips, and my switch flipped in every area, because my weight was affecting my health, my finances, my career. And how does it affect your career? I could not fly without buying 2 seats. Business going to pay for, your flight, but you don't want to buy 2 seats when you don't need to buy 2 seats. So you don't want to do those things to cost you for health insurance, co-pays and premiums, doctor visits. That affects your money. So all that to say, if you get, you see somebody on a journey, no matter what it is, applaud them, because you don't know what it takes for them to do that. And if they share it with you, if it's not meant for you, pass it on to somebody else. Deanna, do you have any closing words as we celebrate one another on surviving the 75 hard?
Well, first off, let me tell you, honey, I love to see the progress pics. I've known the old Tracy, and I know the Tracy that you are right now, which personally, you're the same. You're the same person. It's just a lot less of you to love. That's all. And I love it because it makes me believe that I too can do whatever it is that I need to do because you did it. So I keep the pictures coming. When I post the pictures, it's because I need to remember.
Yes.
I need to remember. I need a visual reminder for myself that this is where you have come from, because sometimes we forget. We forget because we're busy out here living life, and we think, oh, I got to do so. Oh, oh no, you can't see me from the back. Oh yeah. Yes. I need to remember.
Yes.
What it was like before. I need that reminder. But for those of you out there, I'm telling you, I'm very passionate about. Y'all saw my face light up when I started talking about that food. Oh my God. And I'm very passionate about people doing whatever it is that they want to do. Just do what it is that you are out here to do, because whatever it is, whether it be all of those challenges that we all have challenges. I just want people to know that whatever there is something out here for you. There's someone out here waiting for you, and you can just freaking do it, and you can do the hell out of it. And people will honor you for that. And most importantly, the Lord will honor you for that, because He gave it to you. He gave you the idea, but if you don't implement it, don't be mad when somebody else do, because it's given to you.
Yes, yes. So I agree, Deanna, and thank you so much again for your words, for even introducing me to the challenge, for the accountability partner you've been before the challenge, and even during the challenge, and even after the challenge. Because we've been having to be accountable. Even we just stay accountable to one another. So thank you for that. And if you, Sister Nieces, no matter what country you're in, because I think when we do the anniversary show, we'll kind of reveal the countries and the number of episodes and the downloads that we've done. But no matter where you are in the world, whatever challenges you are facing, you too can do them. It doesn't have to be the 75 hard, because any challenge is supposed to be hard. If it's not a challenge, it wouldn't be called a challenge if it was supposed to be easy. But you can overcome and you can do it. And if you got to use our weight loss testimonies or our health journeys, our health gains, I like to say, as a blueprint for what's possible, you can use any challenge you overcome that you go through it honorably. You can use some of those same tools to get through another challenge: the discipline, the planning, the time, the effort, the motivated by other people, the support system. They work in any kind of challenge. So we're talking about weight because it's most visible. You can go to Lashes and Lipstick Lounge to see Deanna. You can come to the Black Women's World both of us are in both groups. You can come to the Black Women's World podcast group to see what we're doing in there, because we encompass, it's a Black woman's world, and our worlds consist of weight. It consists of money. It consists of time. And we got some things we're going to be rolling out in the next season. But we're just here for you. So we just invite you into our world because we believe the topics we talk about pertain to yours. So I'm Tracymac and
Tina Hamilton.
Much love and peace.
You've been listening to Black Women's World Podcast, the BWWP, brought to you in part by Tracymac Solutions for Life Institute, coaching and training services. No doubt you have enjoyed being in our world, and it doesn't have to stop here. Head on over to blackwomensworld.com. This is my personal invitation to you to stay connected with me on social media and more. I'd love to see you there, and I'm so grateful you came to be with me here. Invite someone else to join you in our queendom next time so they can feel the vibe of our tribe of Sister Nistas and Sister Nista lovers too. Remember to be kind, be authentic, be generous, be excellent, be grateful, and while you're at it, go ahead and be extraordinary, because that's just what Sister Nistas do, on purpose, through mission, with passion and compassion. It's a Black woman's world, baby, and you, my Sister Nista, are proof. I'm your self-discovery companion, your professional peacemaker, and your host, Tracymac. Wherever you are in the world, may you love and be loved by somebody. Peace.